Mastering the Art of Strategic Reading. Introduction. Reading is not a one-speed-fits-all activity. To truly master this art, you must move beyond passive absorption and treat reading as a strategic tool designed for cognitive efficiency. By matching your mental gear to your specific objective, you can increase retention, critical thinking, and intellectual agility. Point 1. Defining the objective, the pre-reading phase. Before you even touch a text, you must set a mental filter. This filter instructs your brain on which data to store and which to discard. Utilize the strategy of priming by spending 30 seconds visualizing what you already know about a topic. For example, if reading about photosynthesis, recall concepts like plants and sunlight. Shift your mindset from I'm reading chapter 5 to a question shift, such as, I am looking for 3 causes of the Industrial Revolution. This simple change transforms you from a passive observer into a hunter. Point 2. Skimming for the big picture. The gist strategy. Skimming is a high-speed technique, often exceeding 600 words per minute, aimed at identifying the logical skeleton of a piece. Use the nouns and verbs rule. Ignore filler words like the or of, and focus solely on subjects and actions. Look for visual cues such as bolded text, italics, bulleted lists, and the first and last paragraphs, as these typically contain the thesis and conclusion. Point 3. Scanning for specifics. The find command. Scanning is a search for a visual match where you purposely avoid reading for meaning. Use keyword anchors. If you are looking for a date, hold the shape of a number in your mind. If searching for a name, look for the shape of capital letters. Try directional scanning by moving from the bottom of the page upward. This prevents your brain from reflexively reading sentences and keeps you focused strictly on the search. Point 4. Intensive reading for detail. The deep dive. This method is reserved for high-stakes information, where one misunderstood word can alter the entire meaning. Use deconstruction to break long sentences into smaller clauses, identifying the subject, verb, and object. Follow the golden thread by tracing logic from one sentence to the next. If one sentence does not seem to follow the previous one, stop immediately and reread. Do not move forward until the link is clear. Point 5. Critical reading and evaluation. The skeptic's lens. This level requires you to read between the lines to find what is implied rather than stated. Watch for loaded language to detect bias and evaluate evidence by asking if the author is using anecdotal stories or empirical data. Always question if the conclusion actually follows the premises provided. Point 6. Reading for aesthetic pleasure. The immersive style. Unlike speed reading, aesthetic reading embraces sub-vocalization, the inner voice that helps you hear the music of the prose. Actively try to film scenes in your head to increase retention. Your primary data point here is emotional resonance, simply noting how the text makes you feel. Point 7. The SQ3R Method, the study framework. Designed to fight the forgetting curve, SQ3R is a cycle of reinforcement. A key step is turning headings into questions, such as changing the Great Depression to what caused the Great Depression, to give your brain a hook for information. The most vital step is recite. Close the book and say the answer out loud. If you cannot say it, you haven't learned it yet. Point 8. Annotating and note-taking. The active dialogue. Writing while reading increases encoding, moving information into long-term memory. Practice personal translation by never just copying a sentence. Instead, translate it into your own slang or professional jargon. If you can't translate it, you don't understand it. Use symbolic shorthand, such as brackets for definitions or question marks for items to research later. Point 9. Adjusting reading rate. The gear shift. The mark of an expert reader is flexibility. Speed up during scenery descriptions, introductory anecdotes, or repetitive examples. Conversely, slow down for new terminology, data-heavy paragraphs, or transition points where the author introduces a new argument. Point 10. Synthesizing information. The architect level. At this level, you build a comprehensive understanding by comparing multiple sources. Use the matrix method by creating a table to track key themes across different authors. Practice cross-referencing by asking how a fact in one book changes what you read in another. This creates a web of knowledge rather than a single string of facts. Conclusion. By consciously applying these strategies, from the initial priming of your brain to the final synthesis of sources, you save time while significantly increasing your critical thinking and intellectual agility.